The Santa Monica Pier, a place of first dates and whispered dreams. For Mark, today it felt different. The sun glinted off the Pacific, just like it did on their wedding day 10 years ago. But today, the anniversary felt hollow. He watched couples walk hand in hand, their laughter carried by the sea breeze, and knot tightened in his stomach. He'd woken up to an empty house, a hastily scribbled note from his wife, Sarah. On the counter, something came up. "We'll be late." No happy anniversary, no kiss, nothing. He pulled out his phone, scrolling through old photos, their first trip here, grinning, with ice cream dripping down their hands, their wedding photo, her face radiant, framed by the iconic Ferris wheel. He tried calling her, texting her, but every message went unanswered. It was as if the day, their day, had been completely erased from her memory. He felt a familiar sting of disappointment, a feeling he'd been trying to push down for months. The late nights at her new art gallery, the weekends spent with clients, was he just not a priority anymore? Leaning against the railing, he stared at the churning waves, the vastness of the ocean mirroring the emptiness he felt inside. He had planned everything. A reservation at their favorite Italian place, a small velvet box tucked safely in his jacket pocket, a locket engraved with the coordinates of this very spot. Now, it all felt foolish, a one-sided celebration. The vibrant energy of the pier, the cheerful music, the squeals of children, it all felt like a world away, a cruel contrast to the silence in his heart. He felt invisible, a ghost haunting the memories of a happier time. Just as he was about to give up and head home, a flash of color caught his eye. A familiar floral dress. It was Sarah. A wave of relief washed over him, quickly followed by confusion. She was walking away from the pier, heading towards the quiet, artsy streets of downtown Santa Monica. But she wasn't alone. A man was with her, tall and well-dressed. They were laughing, heads close together. Mark's heart plummeted. He didn't recognize the man. They stopped in front of a small, trendy gallery, not Sarah's, and the man gestured for her to go inside. Through the large glass window, Mark could see them talking animatedly. The man handed her a small, rectangular object, a canvas. Mark couldn't be sure. His mind raced. Who was this guy? Was this the something that came up? His initial sadness curdled into a cold, sharp anger. He felt a fool for waiting, for hoping. All the little signs from the past few months suddenly clicked into a painful mosaic. The whispered phone calls she'd cut short when he entered the room. The secretive smiles at her phone. The excuses that now felt like blatant lies. He watched as the man placed a hand on Sarah's shoulder, a gesture of casual intimacy that felt like a punch to the gut. Mark turned away, unable to watch anymore. The locket in his pocket suddenly felt impossibly heavy. He walked aimlessly along the beach, the setting sun painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. The beauty was lost on him. He just walked, the sand cold beneath his feet, the sound of the waves a relentless roar. He didn't know how long he'd been walking when his phone finally buzzed. A text from Sarah. "Where are you? Come home. I have something for you." His fingers trembled as he typed back a single, cold word, "Why?" Her reply was instant. "Because I love you. Please, just come home." Something in her words, a flicker of the old Sarah, made him turn back. He walked into their quiet house. The air was thick with tension. Sarah was standing in the living room, her face pale, her eyes searching his. He couldn't bring himself to look at her. "I was at the pier," he said, his voice flat. "I saw you." He watched her expression shift from confusion to dawning comprehension, then to a deep, heartbreaking sadness. "Mark," she whispered, "it's not what you think." He just shook his head, a bitter laugh escaping his lips. "Isn't it?" Who was he, Sarah? Without a word, she turned and walked towards a large, cloth-draped object leaning against the wall. He hadn't even noticed it when he came in. With trembling hands, she pulled the cloth away. Mark's breath caught in his throat. It was a painting. A stunning, hyper-realistic oil painting of him. Not just a portrait, but a moment. It was him, standing on the Santa Monica Pier, looking out at the ocean, a soft, hopeful smile on his face. It was a photo she'd taken on her phone months ago, a moment he'd long forgotten. But she hadn't. She had captured it, immortalized it. He's a commission artist. Sarah's voice was soft, thick with inch tears. One of the best. I've been saving for months. All the late nights, the extra work. It was for this. I wanted to surprise you. She pointed to the bottom corner of the canvas. The gallery you saw us at? It belongs to his agent. I was just picking it up. I wanted it to be perfect. She held up the small, rectangular object he'd seen the man hand her. It wasn't another canvas. It was a small, silver plaque. Engraved on it were the words, "My anchor, my ocean. Happy 10th anniversary." The anger, the doubt, the pain, it all dissolved in an instant, replaced by a wave of overwhelming emotion. He looked from the painting back to his wife, her eyes pleading, full of a love so profound it took his breath away. She hadn't forgotten. She had been planning the most thoughtful, incredible gift he could ever imagine. She had seen him, truly seen him, in a way he hadn't even seen himself. The secretive phone calls, the late nights, it was all for him. He closed the distance between them, pulling her into his arms, burying his face in her hair. "I'm so sorry," he choked out, the words muffled. "I'm so sorry." She held him tighter. "I'm sorry," she whispered back. "I should have told you something was up. I just wanted it to be a complete surprise." He pulled back, his hands framing her face, his gaze locking with hers. He reached into his pocket and pulled out the velvet box. He opened it, revealing the locket. Her eyes widened, tears finally spilling over and tracing paths down her cheeks. "The coordinates," she breathed, recognizing them instantly. "To our spot." He nodded, his own vision blurring. In the quiet of their living room, with the painting of a hopeful man as their witness, they weren't just a couple celebrating 10 years. They were two people rediscovering their anchor, their ocean, and each other. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more.